first one on DraftKings today. Let's get into it. Good morning. Good morning. It is theoretically 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning. The clocks went ahead. I had to set my alarm this morning on a Sunday, which is an absolute travesty to have to set your alarm on a Sunday morning. But Gotham needs to run at the pond. So therefore, I had to make sure that we were up in time so that we could do that and do this glorious stream. Good morning, Versaire. Good morning, Best Ball on Call. Today, we're going to fire on DraftKings. They have released some tournaments, and I'm going to go ahead and just present the screen right now. Let's look at it together and see what they're offering. So right now, they have 4 different tournaments. They have the $10 tournament, which has 117,000 entries for it. They have a $100 tournament, which we're not interested in, definitely not today. They have a $1 tournament, which I find a little bit intriguing. It's a 20 max as well, with first place being $5,000. So you can max out this tournament for $20 for a chance at $5,000 with 59,000 entries in it. It's, most of these tournaments are lotteries anyways. Might as well fire 20, right? $20 to get 20 teams. I think that's a great tournament to probably get your calluses, get familiar with the draft board and stuff. And they also have a single entry $33, which I can tell you we will probably fire at some point. I don't know if I'll do it on stream, but I'll probably fire a $33 single entry. But today we are going to focus on that $10 tournament. I'm going to go ahead and jump into it now because I don't know what the fill rate to be prize edible. Okay. This is interesting. I mean, they're trying to get rid of bots. Good for them. We like this. So to be prize eligible, you have to either edit your pre-draft rankings, make a manual draft pick, or add a player to your draft queue. Do not take one of these actions. You will not be eligible to win prizes, and your entry fee will not be refunded. Interesting. So sort of like that. I mean, it's very... I want to enter with money. Let's enter with money. We only need 3 more. So if you want to jump into this draft, we need 3 more right now for this DraftKings $10 entry. I feel like I have something in my eye. That's great. Everybody's excited about that. Church bells are going off behind me. I can't see. Let's go ahead and get some music going and get ready to draft on DraftKings. So I have not fired on DraftKings yet, so I don't know what the board difference is going to look like. I've been sort of saving every first draft for the Sunday streams on each site. So we are now firing our DraftKings one. I don't remember if DraftKings did the pre-draft tournaments last year. They definitely could have. I don't think so, though. I feel like I would have had some, and I didn't have any. Morning South. There's this weird thing where I have to refresh to see. So we need 2 more for this DraftKings $10. Good morning, Shuby. Good morning. So 2 more. We will draft. I agree. I think this is new. I have a favorite round 20 guy now that the combine is over. Taj Brooks, ultra productive. Ran decent is my new favorite pick down there, says Versaire. I don't have. Oh my God, we get the 101. Look how blessed we are. We are blessed with the 101. So obviously all my percentages with the Spike Week tool is going to be all zeros currently because we have not drafted. I have like there's like few guys that I do have that I like more in certain pockets of the draft. I haven't really grown attached to anybody in the end of drafts yet, personally. That will come with more drafts, I'm sure, though. And I just, in general, don't love the rookies this year. For something that we sort of overhyped to begin with, other than the running backs this year, which is like a huge part of fantasy football, obviously. Like it's definitely a rookie running back year. But I'm not gravitating towards later rookies this year. I think we're getting too much value with veterans that people don't want to draft. We sort of talked about this in the lab a little bit on Wednesday, but one of the things I see constantly is because a veteran isn't going to play on the level that they played before, people just cast them aside completely. It's like they think that they go from 100 to 0 fast, and sometimes they just sort of scale down a bit. And it affects their draft stock too much. I guess we'll just grab Jamar Chase, by the way. Why were they giving me the red thing? The draft hadn't even started yet. Okay. All right, we'll grab Jamar Chase. But we are going to look through the first round real quick. Seems pretty standard. Jamar seems good. All right, let's see if we can remember how to do the draft board. It's by clicking on the draft board. Look at us. We are getting good at this. All right. See Gibbs go second. I don't think you're going to see things change too much here. Is anybody in the draft with us? I know the Draftkings names sometimes are quite different than other ones. Yeah, and Versailles brings up Gabe Davis. So we're finally starting to get some movement on what's going on. Oh, I should have guessed that one, Shuby. Maybe I should have guessed that one. It's close enough, but I feel like it's far off enough that I wouldn't fully get it. But Shuby's in here. So what I was saying is we started getting some movement on free agents, guys re-signing, guys getting released. And as Versailles brings up, we're seeing a lot of changes happen down in Jacksonville. They're releasing Christian Kirk, which I personally expected for the entire offseason. I did not see them bringing back Christian Kirk. I think a lot of other people did. I just didn't think that it made sense at this point in time. They also got rid of Ingram. So the offense is going to look quite a bit different next year. I think the biggest problem with that is some people were over analyzing that as far as Brian Thomas Jr., who was already going to be a stud, already had the workload. I don't think it adds to Brian Thomas Jr. In fact, it probably hurts him a little bit until they get another guy. And yes, it helps Gabe Davis probably be the 3, maybe. I'll draft him some, I guess. But I think they're clearly there's plans to bring somebody else in. What's going on, Felix? Best Ball Nation in the chat as well. So yeah, you saw it on Twitter like really hard, where people were overreacting to the releases from the Jaguars in terms of what it had meant for Brian Thomas Jr. And it doesn't mean much for him. He's going to get his targets. He is fine. So there could have been some double counting there. Although he goes 112 here on this in this tournament, which I think is that's where I want to be getting him, is like right around there. But we've talked about this before too. I think this is the strongest first round in quite some time. It's going to be hard for me to pick and choose what I want to do with it. How do I feel about Christian Kirk at this new price? Well, it's probably a great time to take him, because as soon as he signs, insert the script, right? Player gets cut, player drops, player signs with any number of new teams, player moves up. So do what you want with that script, and just go ahead and mash them, is what I would say. So we got I think I want to take Bucky. Let's take Bucky Irving. And do we want McLaurin or do we want Garrett Wilson? Let's grab Garrett Wilson with the hope that they get some sort of quarterback there. I didn't like Garrett Wilson in the first round last year, but third round Garrett Wilson seems pretty fine. I am probably fading Tyreek Hill. Probably not someone I'm looking to draft. Probably going to be a fade for me, so that's what I'll be doing. Morning, Jonathan. Oh yeah, he got traded to Houston. That's right. They were going to release him. He went to Houston. See? Things get confusing. He went for the 7th round pick. There was reports he was getting released, then he got traded. Yeah, I like Kirk in Houston. Where is he going in drafts right now? Because I have not drafted since last week. I do think the one thing that I took away from that is I love that for Nico Collins. I think that is the perfect complement in that offense for Nico, is a guy like Kirk. And I want to be extremely, extremely overweight on Nico Collins this year. My biggest takeaway is, thank God there's another guy there. We know Diggs probably isn't coming back. Tank Dell may never fully come back after what's happened to him. Getting a guy like Kirk in there with Nico, you have Dalton Schultz. He's around 125. And yeah, I think that's fine. Seems pretty good. So we do see Lamar and Josh Allen go in the 2nd round here. We got to remember that DraftKings quarterbacks do tend to go a little bit quicker. Yeah, Houston could draft a guy. I wouldn't be completely shocked. Versier is saying that he thinks that Houston gets a new tight end. What's Schultz's contract? So it's not really a cut candidate this year. They can't cut Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz was fine last year. Who is getting sacrificed for Nico exposure for me? That is the good question. That is the good question, because it is quite difficult. I am probably going to be out on Saquon, which sucks. That is definitely one of them. And then it comes down to my stomach turning. I don't know if I'm doing Gibbs at 102 either, by the way. I might just have to sacrifice Gibbs. which also is terrifying. And that way I can just sort of, my first round running back exposure is just Bijan. And then I'm grabbing Chase, Jefferson, trying to stay flat between Lamb and Nakua at 8%, and then Nico, get him to 20-ish percent is kind of, this is all working theory in March, by the way. So don't clip this in July as the first round changes. And you said you were going to do this, but like this is sort of my way working through it. Amon-Ra is someone that I want, but if it's Nico or Amon-Ra, I want Nico. The difference might be drafters. I don't know. So like that's the stuff I'm trying to figure out. That's the stuff I'm trying to figure out. I can't do Gibbs at 102. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Here's DK is an interesting player on the board right now. We don't have to take him, but what an interesting pick there. The other guy that I think is really good in this range, I just think we're kind of crazy to not be taking Olave up around here. So we're going to grab Olave. And we should probably just grab Chuba. Let's grab Chuba. Did we grab Olave? Yeah, so we grabbed Olave, which was the plan. So we'll go Bucky, we'll go Chuba, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. We sort of know what the Saints are going to look like offensively now with Carr for sure in there. And people don't like Derek Carr, but he's like fine. So I think that's something that probably gets. What are these terrible things they're doing with the rookies? By the way. Anyways. God, Joe Burrow. Oh, we've got a Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, 2 quarterback build here without T. Higgins. Went Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Ted McMillan as the first wide receiver. It was not usually the type of wide receiver you would see with a build like this, so I find that interesting. All right, let's just go through our team again real quick. So far, we have Jamar Chase, Bucky Irving, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba is probably going to be a fine pick in this range this year. We know what's going on with that running back room. They bring somebody in for sure. They draft another guy. The Brooks thing is just, devastating. I'm guessing Miles Sanders is finally not under contract anymore. And does that matter anyways, even if he is? I am interested to see it, though. So he's a dead cap hit. So they could keep him on the team. Maybe they've already announced it. It's one of those guys that could just fly under the radar. He has a cap hit of $8 million. If they cut him, it's a dead cap hit of 2.9. Thought on Jake Bobo breakout year incoming. Sure, who's throwing to him? We should talk about this situation. This situation with Seattle. So, sort of talked about this in the Discord a little bit. I understand this trade from both sides, in theory. I understand the mindset from both teams. So, if you're Seattle, I feel like Seattle is set up to be sort of in purgatory right now with Geno Smith. They're going to be a 10-7, 9-8 team. Some years that's good enough to get into the playoffs. Some years it's not. And they feel like they need to sort of tear it down. They've already, Tyler Lockett's gone. DK Metcalf is asking for a trade. Their offensive line is garbage. Geno Smith is old, like theoretically old for a guy that you're building a team around. What's he got to be, like 34, my guess is? Oh my God, I'm so good at this game. 34, turns 35 this season. I get wanting to, but if you're going to tear it down, you got to tear it down. So we'll get back to Seattle in a second. We'll get back to all this after we draft our next two players as well. Haterade must be auto picking. Well, I guess not, because DK would kick him the auto. All right. Jacoby Myers, this high is LOL funny. Just absolutely amazingly funny. I like Andrews here, I suppose. And I like Jaden Reed, so let's do that. Let's double tap Andrews and Jaden Reed. Get back to the draft board here. Maybe I can make this a little bit. Let me know if that's a little better for you guys. Yes, Geno is a Raider now. So that's the other part of the trade. Geno gets traded to the Raiders, right? And I understand this from the Raiders' perspective. They've been absolutely atrocious. They've just moved to Vegas. They've been bad overall. And quarterback play has been terrible. And they probably just want to put a product on the field that is competitive. I don't feel like they are looking to realistically win a Super Bowl at the moment. I think their goal is to just put something on the field that is competitive and can get to the playoffs for a game, maybe sneak to the second round of the playoffs. And they're showing this number of ways. They brought in a 106-year-old coach. You think a 106-year-old coach is looking to do a full rebuild? No, you bring in Pete Carroll because you want to win now. You want to build something that can possibly go to the playoffs 2 of the next 3 years, probably. You're kicking the can on the rebuild. So now you got to get a quarterback. He's comfortable with Geno Smith, knows what he brings to the table. Let's get him in there so that Pete Carroll can focus on the defense. They got to get a running back in there as well, obviously. So I get the trade theoretically from both sides, from the Seattle side, from the Raiders side. If Seattle brings in Sam Darnold, I think that is fucking crazy, personally. Because why are you bringing... I know Darnold's young. He's much younger than Geno. And maybe, I guess, theoretically, you could think of him as a starting quarterback. But we know that there's very few exceptions of guys that bounce between 3 to 4 teams that is a starting quarterback in this league. Baker Mayfield being like the obvious exception. And we're trying to do this with guys this year because of how bad the draft class is. We're going to do it with Darnold. You're going to bring him into Seattle with one of the worst offensive lines. You got to rebuild that because if there's any quarterback that needs an offensive line, it's Sam Darnold. So Seattle, not a great fit at the moment for him. You're getting rid of all of his weapons. So you're stripping the team down to bring in a potential franchise quarterback. I just don't. I wouldn't personally understand that move, and they'd have to make a lot of moves around that in order for it to make sense to me. So if that's something they're interested in great, fine. But I just think it's kind of silly, which means moving Geno this year was silly because of how bad the quarterback market is, unless you are just trying to strip the team down. So that's sort of the way I'm looking at that situation, that they're trying to strip that offense down, rebuild it. So I don't know how much sense Darnold, and he'll probably go there, but I don't know, man. I just think like it's not the greatest move in the world for that organization. That being said, at least it's a quarterback that can get JSN the ball, right? Whoever else they bring in there, or Bobo, whatever your thoughts are on that. Sometimes we just need to think like NFL teams, is all I'm saying. All right, so we have 2 RBs, 4 wide receivers, a tight end. I think this is a good time to take Jalen Warren and Jordan Love. So we're going to take Warren. We're going to take Jordan Love. Haterade is officially on auto draft now. So that's a thing. Herbert was still available. Herbert in the 9th, it seems nice. I like this philosophy better. Get Carson Wentz. Get a guy that has shown flashes of being fun in the past. It's been 100 years. Jameis is the other good one. You just get Jameis. Just play fun bad football. Tank your team and play fun bad football. Just start Sam Howell. I agree. Just start Howell. Take a shot on a rookie quarterback in the mid rounds. Crazier things have happened. Maybe he beats out Howell for the job. I doubt it. But I would not bring in any of these quarterbacks. But that's what I would do. I just, otherwise, what are we doing? Oh, Versailles, don't get it twisted. Howell was terrible. He was just good for fantasy. That's the difference. Trade for Levis? What would you have to trade? What do they have in Seattle? Like 3 of those fish that they throw? Throw them 3 fishes for Levis? That's all they got to probably give for him at this point in time. Levis is worse Jameis Winston, right? Like much worse Jameis Winston. Levis has made some plays that I don't understand how you make in my entire life. Just absolute insanity. Don't we usually have an Olaf that's in chat on Sundays? Yes, exactly. Sam Howell is Levis at home. You already have the Levis. You might as well play that one. Meaning Sam Howell. The board is littered with red. I asked about Olaf because I saw Ragnar here, which you can't see my mouse cursor, but I'm circling around Ragnar, one of the usernames. And I have a fun world history fact that I have learned this week. Would I trade a second and Pacheco for Darnold and DJ Moore? Well, yeah, because I want DJ Moore. And you have Kyler Murray. I mean, I wouldn't even care about Darnold. You have Kyler Murray. Kyler's fine. Scatabo over Charbonnet right now? That seems silly. And I should not have said anything because there he goes. There he goes. All right. What do we got for wideouts here? So let's grab Hollywood, who just re-signed. We'll do that. And finish outside end with Tucker Kraft. Let's run over the team real quick. So at the moment, we're doing this Green Bay thing because we have Jordan Love at quarterback, Bucky Irving and Chuba Hubbard at running back. Filling out the starting lineup is Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Mark Andrews at tight end, Jaden Reed, Jalen Warren, Hollywood Brown, and Tucker Kraft. So 2 tight ends, 1 quarterback at the moment. I'm curious who's available at quarterback at this particular time. I think there's some options there. Yeah, I would trade Pacheco away in a heartbeat as well. Yeah, and you're getting DJ Moore, clearly the best player in that draft, and in that trade. Daylight savings comes for all of us. How's everyone adjusting to it? Because it's not my favorite. We don't love it, especially on Sunday mornings. But we persevere, we endure, we overcome. We make things absolutely work. We talk nonsense. Do our next 2 picks, and then we'll get into our world history fact of the day, of the week, of the month. Who knows if I'll do them every week? Perhaps I will, perhaps I won't. We are 1-3-5-2 for the build right now, which I don't know if I love. In general, I probably don't want 2 tight ends at this point in time. We probably want that tight end spot flipped for a running back in general. But I didn't really want to pass up on Mark Andrews, who absolutely came alive at the end of the year. First half of the year was atrocious. There was the car accident, some other things going on there, but I think Andrews is still young-ish. What is he, 29? I believe. So I think Mark Andrews is a good value where he's going at this point in time. Where do we get him? 6th round. Last pick of the 6th round. I'll take him there. Do see that middle row here, spam 3 QBs. Is totally fine for me. Nice pick by Shuby there, grabbing Fields. We are not going to grab Kyle Pitts. We are going to grab Bryce Young, though, who I think is... You could not have told me this last year until the last 6 weeks of the season, but one of the safest quarterback picks on the board, I think, this year in terms of later round quarterbacks. They re-signed Dalton. I think that really cements this year that they are going to ride Bryce Young. Like this is a big Bryce Young year. Looked much better. Yeah, Trem will get the extension. I think it was a 2-year, but probably just a 1-year, if I remember right. I mean, he looked fine, and they should still be relatively bad. Bryce Young should be able to put up some points. That's all we're looking at here. I wasn't touching Bryce Young last year because of how atrocious he looked in his rookie season. And let's be fair, he looked terrible to start the year. He got benched week 3, came back, actually looked like he put it together. And I think that goes to show that sometimes we do need to bench these. He's the number 1 overall pick, so it's hard to do. But maybe he just needed to take a step back, relax, lose some of that pressure. The pressure isn't as high once you've already gotten benched. And maybe it just made him able to perform a little bit better. Where do we think Evan Ingram lands? Great question. So, what is a good fit for him? Yeah, throw us a like. Throw us a like while I think of where I want Evan Ingram to go. Evan Ingram. God, what if, hear me out, the rumblings have sort of quieted down, but it's draft day. Or it's before the draft because free agency is before the draft. What if we see the Aaron Jones situation from last year, meaning we see Atlanta sign Evan Ingram, and we're like, oh my God, they have 2 tight ends. And then an hour later, they do trade Kyle Pitts. I think that we only look at it through the lens of teams that we know need a player rather than teams that could upgrade what they think is an upgrade. So if they think Ingram's an upgrade and he's a safer play for Michael Penix, and there's already rumblings of them trading Kyle Pitts out of Atlanta, maybe the Atlanta Falcons sign Evan Ingram. Just a thought. But as chat brings up, there are plenty of good places. Houston would be okay. Titans do make a ton of sense. I'm going to grab Alec Pierce. I mean, the dude just puts together weeks that you want in fantasy. So let's go ahead and grab him. And then we're going to swear internally. We're saying every bad word in our brain right now. We're not saying them out loud, but we're saying a lot of bad words in our head. And we're going to draft Ollie Gordon, the second worst running back name. Like, he should fail just based on, like, Ollie Gordon is not a running back. He's not a running back in 2025. Ollie Gordon is a 1925 running back name that played for, like, you know, the Cleveland Blue Jackets back in 1925, like this NFL team that played for 4 games. Yeah, we know he had a poor combine. We know that wasn't great. But we're still going to take him because we can. But we are going to make fun of him because he does sound like a 1925. He played for an NFL team that existed for like 3 days before they had to change their name. So he was like part of the Cleveland Blue Jackets. Ollie Gordon, starting running back / fullback. He wore number 47. That feels like Ollie Gordon, right? They just ran the sweep nonstop. He was great at halfback dive. That's who I think Ollie Gordon is. That's where we're going with Ollie Gordon. Oh, so world history fact of the day, because we haven't got there, and we have Ragnar in our draft. Yes, Steagles legend Ollie Gordon. Great call, Dorito. I've had to do some Norway research this year, and I am looking at the city of Trondheim. And Trondheim was founded by a Viking king by the name of King Olaf in 997 AD. But in the year 1000, he would be in a battle, King Olaf. And during this battle, he was on his ship and realized that he was going to lose this particular battle. Rather than being captured, King Olaf, Tryggvason was his name. King Olav Tryggvason decided that rather than being captured, he was going to jump into the middle of the sea in full armor. Now, I'm terrified of the ocean anyways. It's the worst. Some are saying it's the worst. But if you're deciding your end is to jump off your ship into the ocean, but you're going to do it in full armor, even worse. Even worse. So there's your world history fact of the day. King Olaf founded God, I just forgot the name of it. Trondheim. And then perished in the sea with full armor. And that's how it goes. We're on the clock. Speaking of someone that looks like they run in full armor, Javonte Williams is on the board still. I don't like anything here. We are on Draftkings. Maybe we just do Wandale. I think that's fair. I think Justice Hill is fair. I actually like the way Justice Hill looked last year. So let's grab him. I think he's a fine pick in the 18th round. And by 18th, I mean 17th round. So there you go. Can I not get all the way? Oh, there we go. All right. We're all learning together. God, the Steagles. You know what would be a lot of fun? Actually, it would be a nightmare. A replacement player season. Which was the last time they did that? The 80s? Yes. So Versailles saying, so you mentioned you don't like Jacoby Myers at price. Even now with a good QB, now that we have clarity on QB for Las Vegas, I'm hammering Myers. I like Bowers. Jacoby Myers, to me, is way overvalued on a team that I don't think is done making moves. And that's how I feel about that particular situation. I wouldn't be shocked if they bring somebody else in and Jacoby Myers becomes sort of the third guy there. The Raiders are doing some stuff. I'm not a Jacoby Myers guy to begin with. Never been a huge fan of Myers. I know he's outproduced what I thought he was going to do. But age 29 season this year, I'm going to pass on Jacoby Myers in the, what was it, 5th round? Where was he? 7th round? Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have Pearsall, McMillan, Ayuk. I'd rather be grabbing a quarterback here. Reed like we grabbed. Give me Baker Mayfield. Give me possibly the running backs. Yeah. The Replacements. Not a good movie, but one that you will still watch from time to time. That's what I will say about The Replacements. I also think that, like, because of all the things I'm saying, I just think you're looking at peak price Jacoby Myers right now. So I'm never tied to price either for players. Like, if I think they're a good pick, I'll just take them. But when I'm already not in love with a player like Jacoby Myers, and I think he's sort of at his ceiling price, I'll wait till he walks back a bit. Michael Pittman in the 9th round is interesting, huh? Like, I'm not a Michael Pittman fan, but if you think he can come back and do something, I guess he's someone that we should probably be looking a little bit more at if he's fallen that far. But I've trained myself to not see Michael Pittman on the board. It's just a great thing that I've been able to do for these past few years. But I might have to retrain myself to look at Michael Pittman and consider him, I guess. It's what depends what Indianapolis does this offseason as well. I just like the other wide receivers better. I like Downs a lot, especially on a site like Draftkings. And then I like the other side of that. I like Alec Pierce because when I draft Alex Pierce, oh my God, we're on the clock. We're on the clock. Oh my God. Shit. All right, we grabbed Noah Gray. Oh my God, and we autoed. Who did we auto? I don't like that. Oh, we autoed Russ to then auto Noah Gray. What an absolute nightmare. What tangent was I going off on that I had to get myself Russ Wilson? What a nightmare. Well, if there was a 3 QB team that we were going to have, Love and Bryce Young is like fine. Trust me, it's not Russ that I would have wanted. I would never have taken Noah Gray on this particular team, though. Who are the other quarterbacks? So, like, if it wasn't Russ, not that I was looking at quarterback. Let's pretend I was. Milrow, Winston, Daniel Jones. I guess. Ugh. All right. Fine with it. It's fine. I don't care. Oh, Olaf is here. Olaf is here. Look at, we weren't even on auto draft though. I've toggled onto auto draft too many times. I can try again in 59 seconds. Don't worry, we won't. What do we have right now? What is our roster? How many running backs do I have? They have 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers. Who are our 6 running backs? We have Irving, Hubbard, Jalen Warren, Ollie Gordon, Justice Hill. Sure. Okay. Cool. I mean, I know D-Hop has no juice left, or very little juice left, but perhaps some shots in the 20th round is fine. I don't know, there's some guys that I'd be fine taking the 20th. I think I want to take a running back. '20th round, Ty Johnson. I mean, they like him enough there. Dameon Pierce is kind of interesting this year in the 20th round. Got a little bit of run last year. Let's whoa, perfect. We're playing the Jamar Chase song. And we drafted Jamar Chase. So let's go over our team. We have Jordan Love, Bucky Irving, Chuba Hubbard, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Mark Andrews, Jaden Reed, Jalen Warren, Hollywood Brown, Tucker Kraft, Bryce Young, Trey Benson, Alec Pierce, Ollie Gordon II, Wandale Robinson, Justice Hill, Russell Wilson, ugh, puke auto pick, Noah Gray, also disgusting, and Ty Johnson for a 3-7-7-3 build for our first Draftkings team, which is fine. We have to get some calluses on the site and make sure that we're not auto drafting anymore, but that's going to do it for this particular episode of Sunday Sickos. Take a nap today. You've earned it because of this daylight savings time. I'm going to take a nap today. We'll catch you next week here. Oh, join the Discord. Make sure you're getting into the lab while you can. It's great. We'll catch you later. Peace. Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there, you can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.